Peace and blessings and namaste to all light warriors, workers, and everything in between. It is I, Sophie, today, and as promised, I am bringing you another PowerPoint presentation from the wisdom of Hermetic Sciences. But I decided to do this one on the four worlds. And the reason why is because in the past, some of the slides that I was doing was coming from the principles of Hinduism and also coming from the principles of Tahuti or Thoth. And I'm here to show and to prove that these principles on how one elevates their consciousness has been taught cross-culturally through ages in Hebrew, Hermetic, Kemetic, and Hinduism. Actually, Hermetic principles, okay, is when Tahuti took the principles from Hebrew, Kemet, which is ancient Egypt, and also India, and perfected the science and called it hermetics. But it is emergence of all three of these principles, okay? So we're going to start off with the one that most people are actually familiar with, and that is the Kabbalah. Now, the Kabbalah is formed from the Kabbalion that was taught by ancient Egypt or Kemet sciences and was perfected by Thoth or Tahuti. And what we're looking at is the Kabbalah tree that is from the realm of the Ein Sof, which you can find when you're trying to relate to the Pistis Sophia in esoteric wisdom. This here, if you look at it, looks like a head, and this looks like a man, and this looks like the little feet. But what you're really witnessing is a microcosm, macrocosm, as above, so below type of principle, especially when it gets to right here, okay? Because remember in the last presentation, when I was dealing with the 14 realms of consciousness, or the 14 lokas, the 7 upper worlds, and then the 7 lower worlds. This in Hebrew is defining the exact same concept, where this would be the 7 upper worlds, okay, or the 7 upper chakras, and this would be the 7 lower, or what we consider the shadow world, which is an opposition or direct reflection of the higher realm. So for every opposite, there's an opposite, right? For everything, there's a different opposite. Now here at the top, where we have Ein, we want to look at this as 0 point, okay? The point of all and nothing, no thing and everything all together. All right, so we say this is 0 point. This is the first emanation. This is where creation first begins. And this is the 13th eon. And the 13th eon manifested and experienced itself with the 12th eon, which is considered the Ein Sof. So this is when the wisdom starts to kick in, okay? And then through the 12th eon, the 11th eon was created, okay? Which is now connecting us with Keter, which is the 10th eon. So this here is the God, the original God source energy, and this is the way man can process God through the crown, which is why these are connected, okay? And typically when we're talking about humanity and states of consciousness, the highest that they typically can get is the 9th eon, unless you are from these realms. If you are from these higher realms, 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th, you can go beyond that. But most humans that are residing in the realm of Malkuth or the material world can only get to the 9th eon. All right, let's keep going. All right. You probably have never seen this symbol before, and excuse me if it looks a little shadowy. It's because I'm actually taking pictures from an actual book. So I couldn't get an angle with a ceiling light. No matter what, it was some type of shadow that was going to show up. And what this is considered is the flaming sword of truth and the serpent of wisdom. Okay, these are for those who are initiates that are taking the path of equilibrium. What you are seeing is the sword of truth. This is man's consciousness, okay? Souls that first descend into the realm of matter and then have to ride the serpent of wisdom back up to the creator, okay? So this is how we balance out the dualities here, okay? One is a descension that represents truth. The other one is an ascension once we get the wisdom. And when we balance them both out, we ride the serpent all the way back or what some could say Kundalini, all the way back to our highest self, to our highest levels of existence, which is attached, no doubt, to the creator of all. Okay? So the flaming sword of truth is our descension. The serpent is our ascension. Let's keep going. All right. Going back to the path of equilibrium, you're still going to have the triad, and you're going to have 3 triads, actually. The supernal triad, which one could consider the Godhead. Okay, so this deals with the crown, it deals with Hakma, which is divine wisdom, and it deals with Binah, which is divine understanding. Hakma being the masculine principle, Binah being the feminine principle, and they both achieving the crown when they come together collectively. So this right here, what we would consider the God source. Godhead, right? Now, within man is the ethical triad here. How we think, how we process information, what is our righteousness, mercy versus severity, etc. And then in the astral triad is the first form of consciousness that man from the material realm has the ability to ascend to. And this is where some of creation and planning and all of that things come from. It is within the astral triad that we're actually creating and manifesting on this earth, because this is the connection to the material here. Okay, this Sephiroth connects the material realm to the non-corporal realm. Okay, so remember when I kept telling you about the path of equilibrium. This picture right here depicts the pillars of Solomon, which is right here on this Kabbalah tree. So the black pillar, this one here, would be representing the feminine aspect, okay, of it. Well, one could say the left-hand path, okay, the feminine aspect of this is the negative polarity. Okay, feminine. And then this one here is the positive polarity, which is represented in the masculine. Okay, and for those of us who are balancing out these equations as we go, we bypass both the feminine and the masculine because we have merged them into polarity. And so we take the center path and go straight to the crown. Now, not saying that everyone doesn't have the ability to achieve that, because of course we can. But if you try to do it the long way, what will end up happening is, if you get grounded or stuck in the realm of duality, you will go here, okay, and then you will start bouncing around like this until you get there. So it takes a longer journey. It's a more karmic journey because you will have to learn how to balance out severity plus mercy. So when we are in completion, we just take the middle path, okay? Showing you again how these connect, okay? How a soul can zigzag through this or go ahead and completely go straight up. The quickest way to get to Keter is the equilibrium path. It is the balancing of the masculine and feminine principles, mercy, severity, light, dark, understanding these things, and the 4 worlds also deal with the 4 elements. You have fire, water, air, and earth. Okay. So even going through this, we're going to take our time and go through this so we can understand what these 4 worlds represent. We're starting with absolute, and this is the world of archetypes. Now, what we mean by archetypes, we're talking about physical emanations of a conscious thought. So this is where your gods, and I'm doing that in quotation marks, would go. Okay, they would be in the realm of archetypes. So your Thoths, your Tahudis, your Jehovah's, things of that nature are residing here. They are archetypes of a principle. They're representations of the consciousness of God. All right. And in absolute, it is the first of the 4 worlds and is attributed to Yod. Okay, the first letter of the tetragrammaton. If you've never heard of the tetragrammaton, it is Yod, He, Vav, He. Or, in another tongue, one would say Yod, He, Wah, He. Okay, and this is supposed to be the unpronounceable name of God. All right, so people came up with variations of it. Some would say Yahweh, Yahweh, Jehovah, all of those things. But really, it's unpronounceable. Okay, so this is just man's way of trying to I guess, identify with what they would perceive as God. So it is known also as the archetypal world and the domain of the primordial fire. And this is the divine realm of pure spirit. Okay, so where did we read that before? We saw that when we were dealing with the 14 lokas as Satya Loka. Okay, Satya Loka is the purest of spirit. It is the pure, the spirit of truth. It's the highest level of consciousness. This is where we try to reach and connect with our higher selves as well. And in this divine realm of pure spirit, which consists of the spheres Keter, Hakma, and Banah, all three of the Sephiroths, which reside above the abyss, the fiery domain of absolute activates and fathers the other three worlds. And this is the world inhabited by the presence of the powers of God, symbolized by various divine names. So that's what we mean by archetypes, okay? Next, we're going to have Bria, and Bria is the creative archangelic world, okay? And it is the second world of creation. And this level of the tree includes Chesed, Gevurah, and Tiferet. The second letter He of the Tetragrammaton is ascribed to this world, and it is therefore the dominion of primordial water. The element of water represents the fluid, inventive mind. Thus, Bria is described as the world of pure intellect, where the archangels are said to exist. So here's where your archangels are existing now, that is overseeing these other worlds as well. And this is where intellect takes place, okay? So this is why there is a triad there that is talking about the ethical triad, because this is where you start to perceive righteousness, okay? Now, in this third realm is Yetzirah, and that is represented by air. It is the third level, and it is the world of formation. This consists of the Netzach, Hod, and Yesod. Vav is the third letter of this concealed name, and is associated with the realm along with primordial air. The world is approximate to the astral plane because the etheric framework behind the material universe is found here. It is also the domain of the various orders of angels. So in Yetzirah, this is where we go into the astral realm. So when you're sleeping at night, when you are dreaming at night, when you are creating, when you're in your imagination, you are in this world, okay? Not many have the ability to ascend to these higher worlds. In order for you to ascend to these higher worlds, okay, you're going to have to go past some gatekeepers, okay? And the gatekeepers are pretty much those who are residing over these realms, that is making sure that you have balanced out the things that you needed to balance out to gain access to higher levels of knowledge. For the most part, everyone hangs out here in the astral realm. And the astral realm consists of angels and orishas and, the deceased that when they first cross over. Because this here, remember, is the material world, and this is the bridge from the material world to the astral realm, from corporal to non-corporal. So this is where a lot of souls reside as they're going through their ascension journey upward, okay? And lastly, we have Asaya, and this is the active material world. So of course it will be represented by Earth. And Asaya is the fourth and final world. It is the world of action. So it consists only of the Sephirah Malkut by itself. The final He of Tetragrammaton, as well as primordial earth, is ascribed to Asaya. And in this world, the four elements which make up the physical universe exist both in sensation and in the hidden properties of matter. In this world, tangible action can take place. So, pardon. This realm here is where all of this, well, actually, the creative and archangelic world through their physical manifestations here, okay, on the earth. So all the realm of Asaya is material. It's your body. It's the thing that you're touching. It's your sensation. It's world created from form, from the no thing, non-material, into the material. All right. Now, the three triads that we love so very, very much, they're going to they're going to consist of certain things, okay? Spirit and soul is the most important. Spirit and soul is the most important. This top triad here is what we consider the supernal. The supernal triad, okay? Remember, this is the Godhead. This is God consciousness here. This is the highest level that most humans can achieve. And this is where your crown chakra sits. This is where your wisdom is balanced out by its understanding. And this is the realm where the higher self lives. So therefore, this realm can be represented by spirit, okay? Now, this realm where we have our intellect and our ethics, morality, and righteousness is referred to as the soul. This simply here, this triad is representing the astral world, but more associated with material realm. Okay, so when man is starting his ascension journey, he is taking the material and he is merging with the soul realm. Okay, and he is learning how to process things righteously. He is learning the do's, the don'ts. He is learning the betterment of his soul, okay? And how to operate the body, how to get the physical body in line with the soulish realm. Now, what's beautiful about that is once these two merge, it becomes a single triangle. And now this single triangle of the perfected soul now has to merge with the spirit realm. Okay, once that is done, a tetrahedron is formed. Okay, this is where you get your Star of David. It is the merging and complete merging of soul and spirit unified. Okay, soul and spirit. This is how we become godlike. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. All right, now Tahuti and the Emerald Tablets had said this: lost but existing, flowing through all things, living in all is the infinite brain. Okay, I'm going to say it again: lost but existing, flowing through all, flowing through all things, living in all is the infinite brain, the Emerald Tablets. Now, they were showing this photo as a bearded man. Okay, representing the High Father. You see the chin? You see the head? Okay, so what Tahuti is still saying is the all brain. We all exist in the mind of source. Remember, he kept saying everything is mental. Okay, so if we are emanations, okay, or thoughts of the all mind or the absolute, then our reality have to mirror our own thoughts too. It's the microcosm, macrocosm journey, okay? So as we start to make this ascension, the higher that we go, the more merged we are with the complete all mind, the bearded man, as they call it, okay? The God principle himself. Now, one's going to say, why are we referring to it as a he, as we understand that there is a creatrix as well? And the reason why it is mainly referred to as a he as opposed to a she is simply because it is self-existing. It has no mother, okay? So we naturally attribute to that as a masculine principle. But in all reality, it's both. Let's keep going. All right. So now we have the four worlds and the mental functions of each of these worlds. Okay. So we went over some of them earlier, but the realm of the Ein Sof is the realm of the absolute. It is nothing, but yet it's all things, and it encompasses the first emanations that are coming through the material world. Then we go to absolute, okay, which is the brain, the realm of the supernal, the realm of the crown, knowledge, and understanding. It is the highest level that we want to get to on our human journey. And this consists of the primordial fire. It is also the pure spirit inhabited by the powers of God. So when we become one with God, that's exactly what we are doing. Okay? We are incorporating the realm of absolute and the attributes of God in our own spirits, in our own DNA, right? Then we have Bria. Bria This one right here is a primordial water consisting of pure intellect. It's also the inventive mind. Okay, so here is where we start to create. We start to create in the realm of Bria, water, so that you know water and earth are feminine and fire and air are masculine principles. So you're going to see this balance, with this duality throughout it. But what we're learning how to do is to balance these things. And Yetzirah, it consists of primordial air. It is the astral plane. Okay, it is the framework for material universe, and it is inhabited by the angels and some of the ancestors who may not have ascended as high. And then lastly, we do have Asaya, which is the primordial earth. It is the world of action. It consists of the four elements all together, okay, that brings it to this materialism, and it is the hidden properties of matter. Now, the method of looking at the tree and Kabbalistic theory describes the universe as being separated into these four distinct worlds, with the exception of the Ein Sof, which we have already said is everything and no thing together. Okay? The fact that the fourfold model occurs over and over and over again in esoteric thought with the creation of the Sephirah by the path of the flaming sword, the four worlds came into being, each evolving from the one before it, becoming more substantial as they reach manifestations into physical form. The symbols behind these worlds are the Tetragrammaton, the Yod He Vav He, okay, and each of the four letters of the name have one of the four elements assigned to it. So Yod, the first, is of course fire. He is going to be water. Wa or Vav is air, and He, the final, is earth. All right. So what we are still seeing is the processes of what we would consider all mind or God. Okay. Look at this here. Okay, I always love this symbol because if you look at it, it does represent a man. It represents where his crown is, the fire, the purging fire that comes from the realms of the Ein Sof or the God consciousness. Then you can see the Bria, the creative world that is represented by air. Okay, the water element here, which is the formative world. Okay, and then you also have the earth world, the material plane, and these are the four elements that are associated with it, and they're separated in these four worlds in this matter. And if you look at it upright, what you are seeing is the body of a man. Okay, the body of a man. So these are the elements that exist within all of us, and I already did a breakdown of that in the four elements and the mind. Okay, so I'm just tying a lot of things in together and making visual so that you can see exactly what it is that I'm talking about. We exist and we consist of all four elements, and it's all about knowing how to use which element to do and achieve what, that gets us to constantly not only manifest for ourselves, but overcome obstacles. Okay, to perform mental alchemy, to understand things that we normally may not have understood. All right. It is the perfection of one's soul that has been taught cross-culturally. And right now, we're just dealing with the Hebrew version of it. So even with this, remember, this one here says strength, and this one says compassion. Okay. This one has mercy. This one has severity. So when we balance these things, it keeps us from the zigzag pattern of slowly making ourselves way up, because when we're coming from here and we understand which ones, when to use at what time, by utilizing righteousness, we balance out this equation. Okay, and Da'at is a hidden Sephirah. Okay, Da'at is a hidden Sephirah, and it normally stands for knowledge, but what it is the perfection, the perfected union of these two. This is the realm of the divine child. All right, now, in Hebrew, they have it a little bit different. I always say, and I'm dealing with other schools of thought, that it is knowledge and wisdom that brings forth understanding. In Hebrew, they have it that it is knowledge and understanding. Wisdom and understanding that brings across knowledge. Okay, so it's very interesting to see how our ancestors flip these around. I don't think that there's a right and wrong answer for this, but personally, I prefer knowledge and wisdom bringing understanding, but I still understand the principle of knowledge and understanding bringing forth, wisdom and understanding bringing forth knowledge. Okay, it can go either way. You can just flip them. Let's keep going. All right. Now, even within the Kabbalah tree, we have the divisions of the soul. Okay, and this is one particular soul. This is your soul. This is my soul. This is all of our souls. And in this three divisions is Neshama, Ruach, and Guf. Okay, Guf. You can pronounce it in that way. Okay, so Neshama is the true and immortal divine self. Now see where it's residing, right? It is the first triad and is the true will and psychic intuition. So in Hinduism, we were still talking about this realm as being Satyaloka, the highest state of consciousness. All right. Then we have the Ruach. And what did we say that Ruach represented? Okay. Ruach is wind or breath. So, of course, it's going to be associated with air. And the Ruach is also associated not only with wind, breath, Holy Spirit, life, and it is associated with the ego, mind, reasoning, and powers, ruled by secular and temporary desires. So the area of the Ruach is the hardest area for man to overcome. Okay, and we're able to overcome this when we start to achieve righteous standing by balancing out the equations. Okay, by taking the path of equilibrium, knowing that too much mercy doesn't get the job done, but too much punishment is too severe as well. So we learn when we should be merciful, when we should be strong, when we should be forgiving, when we should go for justice. Okay, we are learning of this dualistic nature of ourselves. And the Ruach area, the wind, the breath, okay, the spirit realm, the spirit realm is the infiltration to the soulish realm. Okay, so Ruach sits right here in the beginning, and right here where all of this is your soul journey. Okay, and you see that it is in the middle path. So the Ruach, the spirit, the wind, is responsible for enlightening and activating the soul, the other tephrots that are around it, to give you righteous reasoning, to give you power so that you have the ability to overcome secular and temporary desires. Okay, in other words, it is the spirit, it is the Ruach, it is the holy breath, it is that is connected right here to spirit and source, that is sitting right within you, that will allow you to overcome and practice detachment. The reason why some of us have so much issues navigating this realm is because of our negative attachments. Okay, it's because of our materialism. It's because of the things that we want, while we're on this realm. So when it's time for us to transition, sometimes we don't get the transition right away because of the attachments to this earth. It holds us back. Okay, so we use the Ruach, the wind, the spirit, okay, in this soulish triad. In the soulish triad. Remember, this is the spiritual triad, this is the soulish triad, but the spirit has infiltrated the soulish triad here when we are adapting to it and we're allowing it to cleanse us of things. And then lastly, we have the Guf, okay, which is the physical body. It is the lower level of the subconscious mind. It is the lowest part of the soul. So this is the part with the density that is really attached to this material world. Okay. And once again, I told you this is the bridge right here. This is the bridge from the material to the immaterial. Then the immaterial in the soulish realm to spirit, and the spirit takes us right into high spirit. Okay, but even in these realms, there are navigations. There are things that we have to perfect. There are things that we have to balance out, and this is the key to balancing those things out. Let's keep going. Now, Hebrew, Hindu, Kemet, mystery, science. So I expressed earlier that I believe that Tahuti, Hermetic principles are a mesh between Hebrew, Hindu, and ancient science, like this, an ancient science, mostly Hindu, Indian, Egyptian type of sciences. And so Hermetic principles drew all of them together, okay, and perfected it so that it made sense. So remember when we were talking about the tree of life and the Sephirats, these are also corresponding to the chakra systems, right? Okay, that is sitting upon the pillar. And remember the other one, the old Sephirotic tree that was on earlier, was showing that there was an as above and so below principle. So when we start to cross reference to Hinduism, we see the 7 higher worlds, that is represented by this Kabbalah tree or the tree of life. And then we also have the 7 lower realms that was represented by the little feet on that man. Remember that? The little feet there. So all of this is teaching the same type of science and the same type of principles that our ancestors knew, okay? And it was taken when we introduced Christianity, okay? But one always strove to perfect their consciousness, to perfect their soul, so they can make their way back home, make their way right back to their pure state of consciousness. So these sciences were never supposed to be removed, okay? And they are cross-cultural from our ancestors. All right, now, here go Hermetic science through thought. Remember when I gave y'all that riddle? For when 2 have become 1 and 1 has become the all, know ye, the barrier has lifted and ye are made free of the road. Grow thou from form to the formless. Free may thou be of the road. What is that talking about? This is the 2 that are going to become 1. Okay, so we have these 2 that will merge, and then these 2 will merge and become 1. And once you get out of this realm here, once you get past the 9th Sephirah, you are now free. You are sovereign. And the way that you do this is learning the principles, okay, of your life, learning reasoning, okay, learning how to overcome obstacles, learning the art of transmutation, okay, of negative, how to turn things negative into something positive, okay, mental alchemy, so that this soul becomes perfected here and now can merge with the spirit, 2 becoming 1, okay, and then you rest in this realm here, 1 becoming the all, meaning we go back to the point of creation. Our soul journeys back, okay, and then we go from the realm of form, our material bodies, to our perfected consciousness, non-material bodies, formless. And we are free from the road. What road? These roads. Okay? Having to go through each and every one of these roads, of these sephiras, learning what they mean. Okay? Learning what they're designed to do. Learning how to balance out these equations. The middle path, the path of equilibrium, is the shortcut. So one should not lead all the way to severity. One should not lead all the way to mercy. One should know how to balance these things when necessary so that they can achieve a level of righteousness and understanding in all principles so that we do become one and the all. The all meaning God consciousness, source. Yes. Let's keep going. All right. Hermetic science through thought as well. We're going to look at this again. Remember in the Emerald Tablets, here's a riddle that he put out there. He said 9 are the interlocked dimensions, and 9 are the cycles of space. 9 are the diffusions of consciousness, and 9 are the worlds within worlds. 9 are the lords of the cycles that come from above and below. Okay, from above and below. Now remember the old picture, the sword, the flaming sword descending and the serpent ascending. Okay, so here's your 9 principles here. All right, these are the interlocked dimensions. Okay, and when we're talking about interlocked dimensions, once again, we're talking about states of consciousness. States of consciousness, how you think, how you're able to evolve from material to non-material. Remember the as above, so below, as within, so without principle that was taught by Tahuti and thought. So if we exist in the mental realm in the world of the creator, okay, and that means we are the microcosm of that macrocosm, then our reality and what we are doing becomes the microcosm of our macrocosm. This is how our world ends up shaping based off of our realm of thought. And people are looking at it as it being way more heavier than what it is. It really is the ability to process something using mental alchemy that thrusts you to a higher level of consciousness by the way you perceive the action. Okay? Case in point, you have an old car. You have an old car. You've had the car for, I don't know, 10, 12 years. Who knows? And you're only making a certain amount of money, and your car has been giving you all types of trouble, maintenance trouble. You're finding out that you're spending way more money trying to keep this car active than you would, if you was just to get another car. And now it's become like a burden, a financial burden to you. But say it's already paid for and you don't want to pay for another one, right? So you're driving one day and your car is giving you trouble and bam, you get hit by another car. Mental alchemy says you can process this one or two ways. On the lower level of consciousness, you get out the car and you're going ape. You're mad. You're angry. You want the insurance from the other driver. They just totaled your car. Okay, you want the insurance. This is a big deal. Your woe is me. Blah, blah, blah. Nothing from that point on. Your mentality is screwed for the rest of the day because you're only thinking about the negative aspect of what just happened. So now your world, what you are looking at is reckless drivers, non-caring people. You know what I mean? More of a financial headache, more of a financial burden. Now, on the flip side of that, the same scenario, this car hits you, bam, and you get out and you ask for the insurance of this person. But say you represent with the insurance of this person, you know that your car is totaled. You could look at this as your prayers have just been answered. Why? Because the insurance company is getting ready to pay you out. And once they pay you out, now you can go ahead and invest in another vehicle. And from that moment on, guess what? Your reality is going to frame around that. So the rest of your day is happy. Life is good. You are getting ready to get a new car. Insurance is getting ready to pay you out. And now your prayer has been answered and there's no more financial issues or burdens on you for getting this done. Do you understand? So learning how to balance these things out keeps us from having to repeat patterns, bouncing back and forth from dimensions. Okay? So you're having to bounce between severity and judgment because you have not found the balance of that. Or you have to bounce in between masculine and feminine principles because you have not found the balance of that. And now you're finding yourself having to go like this, up the doggone tree. When we just need to process by understanding mental alchemy on how to get through these things. Okay? So these are the lords of the cycles. Now, and some other school of thoughts, and each of these sephirah is an angel or an attribute of God. Okay, so some are for punishment, some are splendor, some are beauty, some are, severity, punishment, victory, things. All of these sephirahs have a name. I didn't want to start naming the sephirahs because it would take away from the message that I'm trying to get across. But each sephirah has its own attribute that is associated with the divine mind of God. All right. And maybe if you request it, we'll go through these sephirahs and understand these angelic realms. But these are emanations. All of them are emanations. And we bypass these attributes of these emanations to get back to the crown, to get back to source. Okay, let's go. All right. Now, Hermetic science through Thoth again. Remember this picture of one of the flaming swords, the souls descending into the realm of the material realm, the world of matter, and then having to climb the serpent or ride the serpent. And in some school of thoughts, it's called riding the dragon too. Okay, all the way back up to the crown. Remember what he talked about. Okay, Tahuti says 3 holds the key of all hidden magic. Creator, he of the halls of the dead, sending forth power, shrouding with darkness, binding the souls of the children of men, sending the darkness, binding the soul force, director of negative to the children of men. That obviously, okay, is dealing with our ascension. So we're going up from here, okay? So we're going to end up in 3 because number 1, the material realm, the material world is not included in this, okay? The material world or the bridge to the material world is not included in this. We're only starting with the 3rd Sephirah. All right? So we will go here, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, I'm sorry, 8 and then 9. I did this backwards. And then 10 is the crown. So from 3. So he's giving you the clues of what each Sephirah or each challenge the soul has to overcome in order to get to the next level. So then we go to 4 is he who looses the power. So once you overcome the first realm, you go to 4 and he is now your spirit is loose from that particular obstacle. 4 is he who looses the power. Lord he of life to the children of men. Light is his body. Flame is his countenance. Freer of souls to the children of men. Okay? Then we go 5. 5 is the master, the Lord of all magic. Key to the word that resounds among men. 6 is the Lord of light, the hidden pathway. Path of the souls of the children of men. 7 is he who is the Lord of vastness, master of space, and the key of the times. 8 is he who orders the progress, weighs and balances the journey of men. 9 is the Father, vast he of countenance, forming and changing from out of the formless. 9 is where we get here, okay? This is what is considered the Father, okay? Changing from form into the formless. So we're still on our material journey until we get to here. Okay, once we are able to get to here, then the soul is free. Then we transition back into the Ein Sof. All right, so these are the paths. Okay, and all of these principles have been taught throughout our ancestry: Hinduism, ancient Hebrew, ancient Egypt. Okay. Babylon, all of those areas in the Middle East, we all knew that it was important to put action behind our words, to grow, okay, and to try to make our way back close to the Father as we possibly can. All right, so when these things were taken away from us, man had nothing left behind to show them how to perfect themselves, except for Bible verses and to pray. But in our ancient mystery schools, we understood high science on realms, okay, dimensions, states of consciousness, worlds, planets, all of those things to help us help ourselves on this journey so we can get back to our highest self, which is directly connected to source God energy. Okay? I hope that helped you guys. Good luck on your journey. I am leaving this up here for you. Of course, you could go back and look at it, if you want. Do your own research, as I've always said. And I am rooting for you. We're going to learn how to navigate these consciousness. And now that you've seen this, you may want to go back and revisit the 14 states of consciousness or the 7 lower realms of consciousness, so that you can get a better idea of what level or what realm is plaguing what. Okay, and then you learn how to use the mental alchemy and what element is necessary, either to purge, either to cleanse, either to release. Okay, or either to manifest, to get these things done in your life. And you should find that your mind will start to change. The way that you process this world will start to change. Okay, your reality will start to reflect this. All right. You'll be able to see things a lot better, and we have the ability to practice non-attachment. Good luck, guys. I love you all. Bye.